Welcome to Slow and Steady, the podcast where you get to follow along as we build products in public. Each week we'll give you an honest peek into our lives as we share our struggles, our wins, and everything in between. I'm Benedict and I'm feeling scattered.
I'm Benedicte. Today is March 5th. This is episode number 197 and I am feeling playful.
Oh, playful. You ended up picking a pretty positive feeling.
Well, that is how I'm feeling these days. Like, we're having so much fun, but we also need to make money. And my mother is in this new care situation thing. So, my feelings can be all over the place during a day. But playful is actually the overarching theme, I would say. We're just playing with a lot of different formats and ideas and just having a lot of fun.
That's good. And if it also makes money, that's even better.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see, won't we? We'll see about that.
Okay, it's in that state. I know. Okay.
But I mean, this is a good way to pitch my new service, if I'm allowed.
Well, then go ahead. Yeah,
okay.
Of course.
I mean, it's still in draft, but this is the service that I'm kind of floating around these days, and I call it Go Live with Queen Raae. And it would be me talking to you, a dev tool founder that used to be an engineer, probably. And we'll talk or live stream or have office hours. We'll figure out the format and what fits your dev tool. And we'll do that 1 hour every other week. And then me and my team will create a constant stream of social media posts from that hour for all the other days.
Nice. Yeah,
and
it's
good. Super authentic because it's you, the founder. If you're an early stage dev tool, if you hire a dev advocate or something and focus a lot around their personality, they might leave, and kind of take their audience with them, and it will also usually take quite a while to get them up to speed about your vision and what you actually want to do. Your dev tool is at a point now, but you probably have some vision of where you want it to go, and kind of getting somebody else to fully understand all of that, I think, is hard. So the idea is that I'll chat with you and we'll make it fun, and playful and all of that, so that you just come across as a human talking about your passion. If it's not your passion, maybe you should do something else. If you're starting here, if you're a dev tool founder, you should have some passion around the thing that you're doing. And we'll talk about that. And then we'll use clips from the stream, but also just information gathered in that stream. We could also make quotes or little posts. So from that, you would get a mixed media kind of situation of posts. So that's my idea. And I have 2 or 3 leads that I'm chatting with. So crossing my fingers. But if you, dear listener, is a DevTool founder, hit me up.
That sounds like a good package, because it's very low commit. Sure, there's money involved and stuff like that, but other than that, it's an hour or two of talking to someone, just having a conversation, and then you get a stream of content for your socials out of it. That sounds like a good deal.
I hope so. And I feel it's kind of a little bit of a shift now where people kind of want that more. Like we talked about last time, that I'm kind of betting against AI. I think people want to hear from that founder and hear their passion and hear their way of talking about it. And also, if you want to reach developers that are not beginners, the founder is often the person to talk, because they have that expert knowledge. And
right.
if you're more of the intermediate person in their audience, or a potential buyer, you usually want that kind of expert relationship with that person, and then that the founder is or it could be the CTO or the primary engineer, but I'm focusing in on talking to the founder, and yes, you said it's a 1 hour bi-weekly commitment, so about 2 hours a month, and then we'll just do all the other things. And when I talked to this one guy, he was because he was I need to do marketing, and when am I going to write this blog post? And there's always, and this, there's a million things happening in a startup, but if you have it scheduled on your calendar, you're going to talk to me and we're going to live stream it, there might not be that many in the audience, like we're doing now, but there you kind of have promised your community that you will show up. So it's like there's no procrastination. You just have to show up, and we'll go live, and we'll make it fun, and then we'll create good content from that without or you can be as involved as you want or not, but like you could literally do nothing and it will just like consistently come out. So yeah, I think I'm onto something. And like thinking about getting to do this, like if I can just live stream with people and then play clips and like, have like the ideas of like, how should the clips be, or like what kind of messaging do we want to send? And yeah, I think that I would love that. So
mm-hmm.
much more than doing edited videos.
That sounds like sounds like a very interesting package. And like in theory, you could like we're live streaming this. There's already someone asking about your pricing for this. So
super high. I'll send you my draft page. I will say there is a first mover discount this month that I haven't decided how much is yet, but there is a first mover discount. I think what I put down in the end is around. I'll put the sales page we'll put the sales page in the description. But I think we started at like, oh my God, I'm so bad at numbers. I usually like scratch off a zero when I try to remember. $1,000 per stream. Yes, that would be correct. Ish. And then depending on your package.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and you could potentially like create more content based on it, right? Like, transcribe it, make it into a blog post, make it into, I don't know. Yeah. More content, basically. Recycle that content. Yeah.
Yeah. So I added like the highest package that I now don't remember what I put, but I think like the medium package is like a little over 1,000. I think I put on there. Super solid salesmanship from me now. I'm like, I don't even remember my pricing. But on like the Royale plan, you get one piece of content for every day for 3 different socials. So we'll format it for 3 different socials. And then I also have an add-on service, which would be a newsletter every month with updates that I've learned on, or we've learned from the streams. And then we could obviously link to other content that has been created by the team. Because my other thing I think is like, at least it depends. If you are like me, who I think and generate ideas by talking, surprise, surprise. And if this person is the same way, just talking to me for an hour will, I think, also generate some of these ideas about what could I write about. If we're doing office hours and we get questions, then that person will answer, the founder will answer the questions on air, and then we could create a draft, but that's not in the service now. We could create a blog post draft, or they would maybe be like more clear on what they want to say and then go write that blog post, instead of like sitting down and being like, I need to do marketing, which was what this guy said. Like, I would need to do marketing. And that is a little too broad to actually get an action point down, right? Does that make sense?
Right, yeah. Makes total sense.
So, keen forms, DM me. My DMs are open.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then in addition to that, we're just like playing around. So, if you want to see behind the scenes of Queen Raae and her piratical family, you want to head on over to YouTube Shorts, because Ola is going to town vlogging on YouTube Shorts.
Right now?
I mean, probably. So today, I got a WhatsApp message from Ola that says, "Oh no," with a link to YouTube Shorts. And that's how I found out he did not pick up my passport at the police station when he was going there with Lillian. So I was like, are we doing voice memos on YouTube Short now? Like, what's up?
That's funny. Yeah, I mean that's one way to do like backstage coverage, I guess. Just like air out your dirty laundry on YouTube Shorts.
And we also have this kind of ongoing dispute on YouTube Shorts about should we buy a rundown caravan that I get to renovate for my studio slash podcast studio slash office, or like streaming studio slash office. And I think like people are on my side. Like people want me to buy this caravan and see me renovate it, because that would be Queen Raae doing stuff she has no clue what she's doing. But Ula's like, no, we're not doing this. So my latest idea is, if maybe I should try crowdfund it, because if I go to Ula and I'm like, well, the people of the internet will pay for my caravan, maybe he will say yes. And the reason why he's not saying yes, that is that he knows that like he'll have to do a lot of the work, probably.
So yeah, maybe crowdfunding doesn't help a lot then.
Well, I think then he would be more susceptible to like be saying yes, because we have the parking lot. So if I never do anything with it, it can just stay on the parking lot. Which is it's better than a boat. Like he's used to boats, and like you have to go and watch over and make sure it hasn't gotten water into it, because it will sink and all of those things. But we actually have a private parking lot right outside our house, that this caravan, and we have no car, so we can have that caravan on there. So this is what I'm trying to tell him, at least. It's like, even if I don't do anything, even if this project completely fails, it's just going to be standing there. Like it's not going to be inside our house and like ruining our interior.
Could you potentially just also like then move your entire office into there?
That's my idea. I want my office to be in there. I probably couldn't leave all the equipment there, but I could use this as, because I don't have a door to my office. Like this is a corner of the living room.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You've got a lot of good ideas today. I like it.
I mean, I'm saying playful. Like I'm just like open. I'm just open, and things are just like the ideas are flowing, and I'm just having so much fun. And I also think like it would be great content, like seeing me renovate this caravan, and it would be fun to mix in with like the tech content to just be like, yeah. And then we asked Lillian, or the pirate princess, and she was like, yeah. And then people can like get their names on the caravan. She wants to paint people's names if they like help fund this caravan. And then we asked her, what should they get back? She was like, oh, they can get photos and maybe videos. And they were like, then they can come and like sleep in it when they're in Oslo. Yeah. And then she wanted to make a web page for the crowdfunding. So yeah.
Well, I guess you're doing it, right? Now it's out there in public. You kind of have to do it now.
Well, this is when you should be saying like, no, like, no, this is a bad idea. But when you don't, like,
I don't know. I probably should, but then again, it sounds like a fun project.
Yeah. Maybe Useless can buy a little logo slot on the caravan.
Maybe.
Oh well. What's up in your world now that we talked about the craziness that is the royal family at the moment?
What's up in my world? Yeah, last week I mean, I don't even know where to start. So 2 weeks ago we were celebrating this milestone of like getting to break even, and it's been the SaaS roller coaster as usual. So we had a really high with like celebrating that milestone, but over the last 2 weeks we realized that like we kept growing past that milestone and hit like our artificial goal in MRR, only to realize a week later that part of it was because one of our customers had an issue with a spammer and their numbers were artificially inflated. They haven't asked for a refund yet, but I guess we'd probably pay. Like it wasn't our fault. Like it was definitely an issue on their side. So legally, we're not obliged to like pay them back that additional money they paid. But I guess if they asked nicely, we probably would. But nonetheless, that means like the MRR in our metrics was a little bit higher than what it actually was, because once they removed all those users, the MRR was down again. And then last week, Jane, my co-founder, was on vacation. So I was doing like all of the demos and sales stuff that she was usually taking care of last week, which already made my week super scattered and like unfocused and a lot of calls and stuff like that. And then on top of that, one of our biggest customers had their annual renewal date coming up last week. Basically, February 29th was the renewal date. And when we reached out to them earlier, like a couple of weeks ago, they didn't
sorry,
really...
so they've only paid every 4th year up until now?
No, they have paid every single year, but it's always at the end of February. So this year it was February 29th. Yeah, that would have been bad, but luckily Stripe deals with that. But anyways, they're only paying once per year, and that was coming up. And they have been growing quite a bit over the past year. So it was a significant chunk of money. It was way more than the domain we sold. So it was a significant chunk of money. And even though we reached out to them a couple of weeks ago, we didn't really hear back from them until basically early last week, when they were like, yeah, I like that number is a little bit too high for our taste. And then we spent most of the last week figuring out a way to renew them for a new for another year without losing too much money, I guess. And eventually we figured it out, but it was a stressful week. I did not sleep well for most of the nights last week. And just the back and forth and coming up with ideas of what we can do and what will be fair and all of that. That was just like super stressful. And it like I had one of the worst weeks in quite a while last week. So all in all, it's like SaaS roller coaster galore.
Yeah, such a roller coaster. And especially around, I feel like, at least with that said as well, around New Year's, there seems to be like a lot of shift. You know, you have a lot of people coming in like with their new projects, and then, you know, people who are maybe giving, like, it's the new year, they're going to clean up their subscriptions. Like, oh, we didn't manage to get the business off the ground, so we're like cleaning up all the subscriptions. Or so there seems to be like a little bit of volatility from like December to February, where you can't really trust the numbers because they're like
yeah. I hear you. Yeah, and a lot of, I mean, this didn't really happen too much to us that much this year, but a lot of people doing like spring cleaning or like New Year's, like expense reviews and stuff like that, again, cancel a lot of stuff. And then in February, it's when it hits usually, right? But overall, I mean, all in all, we were still growing at a decent rate in February. And even though MRR is down a little bit again, it's still higher than it was in January, and at a similar pace, basically. So
that's good.
It's not all bad, but like it was a lot of, it was not way higher. It was significantly higher mid-February than what we have got today. And it just like feels like we're losing stuff, but in the end, I guess it's fine. But it's weird how your mind is not satisfied with like numbers that used to be a little bit higher.
Yeah, somebody was like, "Oh, you made it when you turn off Stripe notification for every purchase." And it's like, "No, you've just been a little desensitized, but you need your numbers to go up a lot more than that."
Yes.
Oh, but actually, I took do you remember our idea about the SaaS kind of journey map, where we'd have like a SaaS journey, or like your business startup journey, and then you could get stickers, and you could like put stickers on milestones. I actually pitched that to Outset on Monday in the team meeting. They're not as playful as I am, but they weren't like totally against it. So I'm going to keep working on that. And I think James, the designer, really liked the idea. So we could like make a little mini site, and then that could pull data from Outset, and we could then kind of populate their little milestones, like some of the fun ones that we talked about, like even celebrating your first support ticket. Like it's, that it means people care, right? And we could like have these milestones. And since we have usually the whole business in Outsera, like we'll know how many people they have on newsletter lists. We'll know how, many support tickets they have and what they've made and all of that. We could like have a little like fun, like baby book for your SaaS or your startup, because they're not all SaaSes, but like a baby book for your business. And I think it could be fun. And I think it could be one of those things that people would share, because we're like talking about how to get our logo out there more, just like how to get the name out there more. And we don't have our logo on, in emails and stuff like that. Like we are kind of white label, so you don't see us. So I thought this could be a fun way to like get people to take screenshots and share, look at my, celebration of my first support ticket or my first chargeback.
Your first chargeback, and then you won your first chargeback.
Yeah, you won your first charge. I mean, that should get confetti, like going all over the place. Yeah, no, but I think it could really fit with Outsera as like what we do. I think it could fit really well, and I think it could be really fun. But we'll see. Like I can't do it.
Kind of like small badges that people can earn, and then can sell them as a sticker pack that people can put in their computers.
Exactly, or just like give them a little poster, and then they can like actually put their stickers on, and people can photograph that.
Yeah. That's fun as well. Yeah, I like that.
Or like a baby book. Actually, give them a baby book. Just go all in on the baby book metaphor, and then we'll see. But there's so much. But like doing it digitally first would make a lot of sense because it's less time and cost consuming.
Sure, and and adapting that to a printed version or like stickers, that I guess that's easier than. I like it. You've got a lot of good ideas this week.
I mean, this is me when I don't like work as a augmented staff person in house. Like when I get time on my hands, just like poof, like all of the things. But we'll see which ones we can pick down and actually make something out of. Like the Caravan. I want to. I really, really, really want to make a Caravan. Any more updates?
I guess that's it for the most part. As I said, like last week has been stressful, and overall, I feel like I'm not getting that much uninterrupted time these days because we're so much focusing on sales that there's just a lot of calls happening all the time, and like emails and all of it, and it just I'm missing my deep work time a little bit these days, and we might have to
your co-founder is Jane back from holidays?
Yeah, Jane's back from holidays today, so that's nice. But and we are actually earlier today already talked about like me not really stepping back, but like we had basically a co-working session in the middle of the day where we both forcing each other to do some outreach, do some sales activities and stuff like that. And it was good to kickstart the thing, but I can clearly see, like looking at what we shipped and stuff like that it's just ruining my productivity on the product side of things because it's in the middle of the day. And then I only get a little bit of stuff done earlier. And then, I mean, you know how it is, right? You've got a meeting on the calendar, so an hour before you're not starting anything. And
even today, like with all of my energy and like I want to do all of these fun things, and part of that is also like focusing. Like it's hard to focus because I just like a headless chicken. I'm just like, I want to do it all. So for the 2 week we're doing this, I just streamed before we came on this stream or this recording, which is also a stream. Stream. So we're actually streaming every day this week and next week for the 2 week build challenge by somebody called Amy Dutton, Self-Teach Me on Twitter. So you sign up, and then like the idea is that you pick an idea, and within those 2 weeks you ship something. And we've picked creating a podcast website in Astro. So we were actually using the Slow and Steady this podcast as our test case. So I've been using our API key in case you get emails about that.
Okay, good to know.
I didn't show it on stream, so it's not compromised. So we were pulling in episodes and creating an Astro site because we want to launch the Data in the Wild podcast, like relaunch it after Easter as its own like mini site. And my idea is that later on we'll also add on more content, like blog content and stuff like that. So I wanted it to have like its own proper website. And also I just want to design it really cute. And I don't think I can do that within kind of the Transistor framework. And then Ola is also launching a podcast. So like we wanted to have this and we're doing this in the 2-week build, and I'm really, really motivated. But then this morning the sun was out. My friend was like, hey, you want to have a coffee? I'm like, yes. And then another friend was like, hey, I want to have a coffee, and I haven't seen him in years. And I wanted to be there, like he needed a little bit of support. So I was like, yes, great. Like I'll meet you as well. But then I was like, oh my God, we're streaming. And if that hadn't happened, like if I didn't have that stream appointment, I probably just would have gone for a walk in the sun and had another coffee. And so I needed that commitment myself to just like go on and like focus. And what is also good for me with streaming now is that sometimes it makes me not as focused, because I can get like, if I frustrated when I can't get things to work, that I might have been faster to get to work if I wasn't on stream. But on the other hand, I'm not checking Twitter. I'm not checking Slack. I'm not suddenly checking my phone or like getting up to go grab a snack. Like it really focuses me. So, and then it turns out I can get a lot of done in 1 hour, or like at least I'll get some progress. So we got some good progress today. And then yesterday we had lots of people in the chat, and it just turned into this like fun conversation about my Caravan that we haven't decided if I'm buying. But yeah. So what was this about? Deep work. Yeah. So I feel like that helps me at least to kind of get progress on some of these projects. And also being okay with just 1 hour, which I wouldn't have been before. But like having been forced to only work for an hour, then I see how much I can get done. But my problem is procrastination. Like you said, if I know I have I have this podcast, I probably wouldn't have spent that hour before this podcast recording doing that. But since like I had to just get started at 2:00, like it's on the, it's live, we're doing it, then I actually did it. So I don't know what that.
Cool.
Maybe you should just start live streaming with me, Benedict. And we'll code.
I tried doing live streaming for useless stuff in the past, and I mean, for one, I ran into some technical difficulties with my computer just being too slow and everything taking ages. But at this point, I'm not even sure. Like, I don't think I can stream a lot of the internals these days of what we're doing, or I probably can, but I probably shouldn't. And then I don't know, just dancing around the interesting stuff is kind of stupid.
Yeah, because that's like, it's not always that interesting what you're showing on stream, but co-working I found to be very beneficial, which is kind of the same. You're just not live. You're not live streaming. And I don't know if you've seen it, because we're both in the Mega Maker community, and there are some co-working initiatives there. And I think that is also a good way. Like if you're feeling scattered and you only have those 2 hours or an hour and a half or something, saying like, hey, I would like to co-work, just doing that gives that additional, like, I need to show up and like at least pretend to be working for this 1.5 hour now that I told somebody I'm doing it. And especially if somebody else shows up and you're like sitting there with your little video camera on and you can see the other person focusing, like you don't want to be the person who then goes off and does something else.
Twitter,
yeah, it's just, even if they don't see your screen, I don't know what it is. I think in like the ADHD community, they call it body doubling. And it's this weird thing. If there is a presence there, you just focus differently. And at least I do that, and just trying to use that more to like, ground myself and do things even in 1.5 hour chunks.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Anyway, that was just suddenly a long ramble around how I'm not a focused person. I'm a headless chicken with all my playful ideas.
But sometimes that's what it needs.
Somehow.
Right? Yeah. Well,
I guess that's it.
I was about to ask if you have anything else, but apparently not. So it was nice chatting to you.
I can talk for another 3 hours, but I think we'll just cut it here.
I'm just glad that we managed to record 2 podcasts in 4 weeks instead of like just one.
We're doing so good. And if you're still listening there, listener, after me rambling for a very long time now, last week was my 100th episode.
Right. That's we totally missed that, right? But that's
totally missed it.
Quite an achievement.
But in another 3 episodes, Slow and Steady, it's 200 episodes for Slow and Steady as a whole.
Mind blown.
Mind blown. And you are the record holder if you go into the people tab on Transistor or on our website, Slow and Steady. Is it Slow and Steady?
But I missed the slowandsteadypodcast.com. Slowandsteady.com is for sale, but I never try to buy it because I'm worried that it will be expensive. Well, anyways, it's crazy. We should probably start thinking about what we do for the 200th episode, but I am not sure about what. Well, maybe you've got some playful ideas.
I will think about it.
Cool. Well done.